Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Mohamad Ilyas bin Zamari and I'm from BA114 5B. So today, I and my group will present about fundamental analysis and technical analysis for our main company, which is Hong Leong Industry Berhad, and our competitor is JF Technology Berhad. So my group consists Adam NAJMI, AIMAN ALIF, ADIB FAHMI and Mohamad NOOR HAIKAL. So let's proceed with their presentations.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohamad NOOR HAIKAL bin NOOR AZELI. I will proceed about liquidity ratio for Hong Leong Industry. The chart above shows that liquidity ratio for Hong Leong Industry. From this chart, we can conclude that this company is able to pay off short-term expenses and debt. It is because the company performing well and increasing every year for current ratio, quick ratio and also net working capital. So, I would recommend the investor to buy this stock because of all that ratio is improved recent years.
Next is activity ratio. Activity ratio is used to determine the efficiency of the company in using its asset in generating sales. These ratios will indicate whether the assets are too low, too high or reasonable for the company's current and projected operating level. Therefore, as for existing investor, I will sell the stock as the stock does not show an improvement year by year. Meanwhile, for potential investor, I would recommend them to did not buy the stock as majority of the ratio shows a negative way and did not have improvement in recent years.
Next, we move to leverage ratio. Leverage ratio is about to determine the relative of debt load that a business has incurred. Overall, the leverage ratio of Hong Leong Industry Berhad is performing well. To conclude, as an investor, I would buy this stock to make it profit in the future due to the good figure in all ratio for this company.
Alright, next is profitability ratio. Profitability ratio is it measures a firm's return by relating a firm's profit to sales, asset or equity. The higher the profitability of the company, the better is the company. According to the graph above, a high return on equity indicates that the company is doing a good job of using investors' funds to earn income, and other profitability ratios are also performing poorly.
Conclusion for horizontal analysis. Proportionally, as investor, we will buy the stock of Hong Leong Industry Berhad because majority of the ratio above definitely suggests buying the stock due to the company's good performance.
Next, we move to fundamental analysis for JF Technology Berhad. So, we can see that the ratio, which is the current ratio and quick ratio, is higher compared to Hong Leong Industry Berhad. This shows that JF Technology is more efficient to pay for the short-term obligation. To conclude, as an investor, I would invest in JF Technology Berhad compared to Hong Leong Industry Berhad.
Next is activity ratio. As for activity ratio, it consists of inventory turnover, days to sell inventories, average collection period, average payment period, fixed asset turnover and total asset turnover. In conclusion, based on activity ratio between Hong Leong Industry Berhad and JF Technology Berhad, I will invest in Hong Leong Industry Berhad because Hong Leong Industry Berhad perform better in terms of the days taken for Hong Leong Industry Berhad to sell all of its inventories.
After that, we move to leverage ratio. According to leverage ratio for JF Tech and Hong Leong Industry, I will prefer Hong Leong Industry Berhad because the ratio of Hong Leong Industry are much better to compare JF Technology Berhad. Because Hong Leong Industry Berhad, the company not use large loan to support their financial. This show Hong Leong Industri Berhad is more efficient in managing their debt.
Is profitability ratio. Profitability ratio consists of gross profit margin, operating profit margin, net profit margin, return on equity, and return on assets. To conclude, as an investor, I will invest in Hong Leong Industri Berhad. This is because most of the ratios, which is operating profit margin, return on asset, and return on equity, is higher compared to JF Technology Berhad. The investor will prefer the higher return, hence the net profit margin is the matter the most, as it shows how much the profit of the company earn from its sales revenue after all expenses. Besides that, Hong Leong Industries' return of equity also higher than JF Technology Berhad. It shows that the company is doing a good job in using its investors' funds to generate a return.
Conclusion for vertical analysis. Overall, to conclude based on liquidity ratio, activity ratio, leverage ratio, and profitability ratio, we will choose to invest in Hong Leong Industri Berhad as the company performed better compared to JF Technology Berhad. Additionally, most ratios show that Hong Leong Industri Berhad is better than JF Technology Berhad. The reason is because we can see from the return on asset. In terms of return on asset, Hong Leong Industri Berhad is better than JF Technology Berhad. The company is able to generate Rm0.123 profit for every Rm1 investment in asset compared to JF Technology Berhad, which the company can only make Rm0.115 for every Rm1 investment in asset.
Hi, my name is Mohamad ALIF bin AHMAD ZULFIKRI. I will proceed with the next topic, which is risk analysis. In terms of average return, we can conclude that Hong Leong Industri Berhad has a better return of 0.0128 than KLCI, which is negative 0.0013. However, based on the coefficient of variation, Hong Leong Industri Berhad has a high risk of 120.11 than KLCI, which is negative 996. We can conclude that Hong Leong Industri Berhad is a high risk and high reward investment. Using R-square for Hong Leong Industri Berhad can be explained by 0.73%. This means that changes in KLCI based on daily H4 measurements affect 0.73% of the population. P-values indicate that the model is insignificant because the value exceeds 0.1. The Hong Leong Industri Berhad market return is related to the KLCI market return. Using the equation, every 1% change in the KLCI market return has a 0.099% positive effect on the Hong Leong Industri Berhad market return. For JF Technology, in terms of average return, the company has a better return of 0.2492 than the KLCI, which is negative 0.0013. However, JF Tech has a higher risk, which is 50.04 than KLCI, which is negative 996. We can conclude that JF Tech, the same as Hong Leong Industri Berhad, is a high risk and high reward investment. Using R-square for JF Tech can be explained by 0.97%. This means that changes in KLCI based on daily HPY measurements affect 0.97% of the population. The market return of JF Tech is positively related to the market return of the KLCI according to the chart above. According to the equation, 1% change in the KLCI market return has a 0.2407% positive effect on the JF Tech market return. As we can see, the intrinsic value for each share is significantly higher than the Hong Leong Industri Berhad stock price. Because of the low price and high intrinsic value, I will advise existing and future investors to purchase the stock at the price it is selling at each year. For JF Tech potential and existing investors, they should buy stocks that are selling for less than their intrinsic value. This is because the prices at which investors are willing to buy are higher than the actual price. Based on the two charts above, the LCI outperformed Hong Leong Industry Berhad from 1 October to 30 December 2021. In October, the company is restrained in its marketing activities due to COVID-19. In the coming month, Hong Leong Industry Berhad outperformed KSCI due to the company's involvement in boosting the financing of renewable energy projects.
Alright, next is support and resistance. A price level at which a downturn is anticipated to have due to an increase in demand or purchasing interest is referred to as support. As the price of assets of security decrease, demand for the share rises, resulting in the formation of the support line. Resistance zone, on the other hand, arise as a result of selling interest when price have climbed. The chart portrays a sideways trend movement from July 2021 until September 2021. This situation occurred because the demand and supply are consistent and balanced.
So, I will continue by explaining simple moving average SMA and moving average convergent divergence for Hong Leong Industry Berhad stock. So, this indicator is function to determine the current direction of the stock, and for short term, which is we can see that there are crossover rule, which is if the moving average line crosses above the closing price, there are sell signal, and if the moving average line crosses below the closing price, there are buy signal. So we can see that early of the August there are sell signal, and at the mid of the August, which is buy signal. So for intermediate, we can see that the line just there are two signal, which is at the mid of the June, because the moving average line has crosses above the closing price, and they are also at the early of the October. So let's proceed with the MACD. The ACD is also one of the well-known indicator, and it functions to identify the trend and the momentum of the stock. So for buy signal, it happens when the MACD line crosses above the signal line and also crosses above the zero line. So sell signal is happen when the MACD line crosses below the signal line, and also when the MACD line crosses below the zero line. So as we can see, for short term, they are start by early June and there are bull signal, and after that there are bearish signal. So for intermediate, it is start also by the bull signal, and there are also bearish signal. The signal was exchanged each other until the October. So let's proceed with JF Technology Technical Analysis.
Next, we move to technical analysis for Hong Leong Industry. First indicator is RSI. RSI is a momentum technical indicator that measures the pace and change of stock price movement. RSI, also called as Relative Strength Index. This may be used to determine whether a security has been exposed to increased risk over the course of the trading session. There may be pressure to purchase or sell. Based on the chart above, we can see the red arrow show the overbought. It is because the RSI is above 70, which is the sell signal for investor. In early March 2021, it showed the sell signal for investor. The price slightly went down and going up again in early June. After that, the price went down for the last quarter for 2021.
As we can see on 5, 10 and 18 November, the purchasing signal for Hong Leong Industry Berhad stock is given with the green arrow whenever the ROC line crosses the zero line from below to above. Moreover, the red arrow indicates a selling signal as it crosses the zero line from above to below, like on 22 November.
Next is stochastic. The stochastic oscillator compares a security's closing price to the range of its prices over a given time period. The oscillator market sensitivity is determined by the time period selected or by taking the results moving average.
According to the left chart, GFTech outperformed KLCI. This is because instead of selling test sockets, GFTech now provides turnkey test engineering services. Due to an increase in COVID-19 cases in Malaysia, KLCI outperforms GFTech in December.
Next is support and resistance. The price level of support is one where a decline is anticipated to come to an end due to an increase in demand or purchasing interest. As the value of assets or securities declines, demand for the share rises, forming a support line. The chart portrays a sideways trend movement from October 2021 until December 2021. This situation occurred because the demand and supply are consistent and balanced.
So let's proceed with SMA and MACD for JF Technology Berhad. The buy and sell signal is also same as before, which is if the moving average line crosses above the closing price, there are sell signal, and if the moving average line crosses below the closing price, there are buy signal. So as you can see for short term, in the early of September, they are starting by bearish, but at the early of October, there are bullish signal. So for intermediate, we can see that at the early of May, they are also start by bearish, but for the early of July, the bull signal has been shown, and the momentum is also continued at the early of the October. So let's proceed with MACD for JF Technology. So let's proceed with MACD for JF Technology. MACD for JF Technology is also same as the MACD for the Hong Leong. So the buy signal is happen when the MACD line crosses above the signal line and also crosses above the zero line. So the sell signal is happen when the MACD line crosses below the signal line and the zero line. So as we can see that at the mid of May, they are start by bearish signal, and at the early of July, at the early of June, they are bull signal, and there are also bearish signal after that. So for this is for short term. So intermediate, we can see that at the mid of March, they are start by bullish signal, and it has rise above the zero line. But after that, at the mid of June, the bearish signal has been shown, and these are same as the short-term investing. So let's proceed with other presentation. So that's all. So that's all for MACD for JF Technology.
Next, we move to technical analysis for JF Technology, which is RSI Relative Strength Index. RSI is a momentum technical indicator that measures the pace and change of stock price movement. From the chart above, we can see that in early 2021, it shows sell signal. It is because the line is above 70, which is sell signal for investor. After that, the price will go down and go to 50 to 60 only with RSI indicator. Same as Hong Leong Industry Berhad, which is sell signal for investor.
When the ROC line crosses over the zero line from below on 18 November, it provides a buying signal indicating that the stock's price is predicted to climb and vice versa. As shown in the graph, the decline early in the month will have an impact on the ROC.
Alright, next is stochastic. There are many buying and selling signals in the intermediate analysis, but some of them are near to each other, indicating that the stock prices increase and fall on a frequent basis, indicating that an investor should pay attention to this stock since it is highly active in the terms of price movement.
Conclusion for technical analysis. Generally speaking, Based on indicator in technical analysis, investors should buy and hold JF Technology Berhad because the buy signal are higher than the sell signal, indicating a volatile pattern. In the case of Hong Leong Industry Berhad, this was recommended to purchase the stock because the buy signal outnumber the sell signal, indicating a stronger buy signal in the chart. Moreover, based on the chart in December 2021, it is recommended that Hong Leong Industry Berhad should be buy because of the indicator indicates a buy signal, and JF Technology Berhad should be sell because of the indicator indicates a sell signal. Conclusion and recommendation. For Hong Leong Industry Berhad, I suggest to buy the stock. For JF Technology Berhad, I suggest to hold the stock. As a conclusion of the overall result of fundamental and technical analysis, as an investor, it might be better to hold JF Technology Berhad share and buy Hong Leong Industry Berhad share. The causes for this are that JF Technology Berhad volatile with technical analysis, while the technical analysis result for Hong Leong Industry Berhad is really interesting. The company has also made a profit during the years, giving investors the opportunity to trade the stock. In comparison to JF Technology Berhad, Hong Leong Industry Berhad is currently more profitable and worthwhile.